And in your opinion, what is the importance of inclusive higher education for your institution in particular?
Thank you very much. You see, the education is the fundamental rights of every citizen of this country. In our constitution, it mentioned that every citizen should get equal opportunity in education. Right now, uh, in our university, all of the students are appeared for admission test, and on merit basis we actually enrolled all the students, and we found that very few number of students, disabled students, actually come on merit, and in each intake maybe only 2 or 3 students are enrolled. So this is the very minimum number. So to ensure their equal opportunity, I think our university should have a separate quota for disabled students so that they can also get technical education. This is my opinion.
And what do you think is the importance of inclusive education for higher education in general in Bangladesh?
Yes, it is in general, though there are a lot of obstacles to get access to the education. Lot of students, they tried and overcome the obstacle, and they get past the secondary and higher secondary and then enroll to the general university. Still the percentage is too low, and some university, general university like Dhaka University, Jahangirnagar, Chittagong University or Russia University, they have separate quota for disabled student, and in this quota system they get the opportunity, and right now in this university a sizable number of students are studying, which is very encouraging. And after graduating the university, these students are placed in very reputed companies, and they are also performing very well. So we need to actually include all the disabled people to the mainstream, and this is actually how we can improve the quality of life of the people as a whole.
So what is the current status of inclusive higher education in Bangladesh?
Till now, thank you so much. Till now, there is no inclusive education policy for higher education. However, government has, developed policy for primary education, because up to the secondary education is free and compulsory for all the citizens. But University Grants Commission, who is working for developing policy for all the universities, they are working on inclusive education policy for higher education.
So they want to improve on that, the same as primary. And what do you think are the biggest needs?
If we looked at Statistical Bureau data of Bangladesh, we have seen that the intake of the secondary education, the people with disability are going to apply for entrance exam for a school as well as in college is increasing day by day. It means we need to have inclusive classroom as well as the inclusive education policy in Bangladesh.
What impact do you think then DiversAsia project can have on Bangladesh higher education?
Well, DiversAsia is trying to build some policy which will help to ensure the inclusive education in different countries based on the experience of the developed country who already have the experience of having this inclusive education. So if we use the experience, in that case we can develop our own inclusive education policy, and government of Bangladesh as well as University Grants Commission, they are interested to have some kind of guideline from the DiversAsia project so that they can include all these things in their upcoming inclusive education policy for higher education. When we got the DiversAsia project, and there is a condition given that they will provide some laptops as well as the tablet, and this will be used for piloting and other purpose. So we requested University Authority to give a dedicated lab or room for us. Then University Authority gave this room, and we kept all the devices for what we got from the DiversAsia project. And these devices are used by our disabled students with some kind of disability. And we also install some software over there. And we are using, students are using these devices. And the next room, there is an option for recording. They record their lectures over there. So during recording, it creates a lot of noise. So we actually dedicated this room for recording. Okay. Actually, a person who are the volunteer, there is an organization called PDF, People Disabled Foundation. So they have a lot of volunteer. What they do, they come over here, they record all the lectures for their peers who have some kind of disability. They actually use this, lecture and recording later. So this is dedicated room, and this room is used for normal study. We also requested university to give us money to buy a smart braille display so that people with the deaf difficulties, they can also study in this room. So this room is actually used by normal, I mean, all the university students, but the whole thing is supported by DiversAsia project. Once the project is gone, in that case, we will give all the laptops, everything to this room so that the person who need the most, they can use these things.
Lovely.
So if any people with low vision, they come over here, they pick our laptops and tap, they connect the laptop and tap with that monitor, and they can see the magnified form of what they see in the laptop. So it will help them to study.
Excellent. So what is the status of inclusive higher education in Bangladesh right now?
Okay, well, in Bangladesh there is a 2.5%, around 2.5% of population are affected by some sort of disabilities, and that disabilities is actually affect the total populations in families. Many families are they are troublesome, and there's some kinds of sometimes they doesn't know the society that my children is with having disabilities or not. In that case, in primary education and others educations, only 0.25% students with disabilities are going to the school.
Very low.
Very low percentages. Though if you count the total number of population, it's about 4 million people are with disabilities. But in Bangladesh, there are some institutions are working on that issues. They are working with vision problems and organ failures, this kind of disabilities. But there are so many disabilities, Bangladesh government in vision of 2040, our Prime Minister actually told that we need to include all the students together so that they can get the same facilities in the education. And also there is a parliamentary laws have been accepted by our parliament, that every student should get the same facilities in the school or college. But some school doesn't have that much of infrastructure things, and not getting the proper training of inclusive education.
Yes.
So in some higher education like Dhaka University, Jahangirnagar University, BUET, they are trying their level best to produce the inclusiveness of the education materials and the accessibility to the infrastructure, buildings, labs, and in the libraries. So I think this is very low percentage of providing the quality of materials for the disabled peoples.
So in your opinion, what are the needs for inclusive education in Bangladesh?
Well, this is ahead of questions of about this higher education with disabilities problem. In higher education, some institutions are providing some books materials, some training tools like software and other coding tools, but very limited. If you ask me about our institution, there are only 47 students currently enrolled out of the whole population. Is 4 million population. Only we are the public university, but still we can't afford to provide the proper materials for them. So that's why we have a quota system. Only 2% of the student, but in higher education, there is a 2.5% students are disabled in whole population, and only 20% people are reaching to the higher educations because of their school dropout and college dropout and then higher institution. And some sort of in this institution, we say that in our university, some students left their studying in second year or fourth semester or fifth semester because they can't afford the materials. They are very highly costly, and the teachers and students they are not. There is lack of awareness about them. So that is the main problem here. So we are tackling that issues through this through our institution, and our Vice Chancellor is actually very much cooperative to providing them the facilities. And we have a lab in the library section. We have a brailing system, an audio book. We are converting the normal textbook to the audios. So, and other institution, there are only few, 4 or 5 institutions that providing this kind of facilities, and most of the higher education institution doesn't have that much of materials for them.
And what do you think, how can DiversAsia impact higher inclusive education in Bangladesh?
Yeah, definitely. DiversAsia create a vast awareness to the population, with the people who have the disabilities, among the administrative staff, teachers, and other normal students. They are awareing through our dissemination program or DiversAsia dissemination program. They actually knowing that what's their right and what's the need to study, and what kind of materials they have to prepare for them also, so that everyone can get same facilities their friends, their others students are getting. So one thing is that awareness. Second one is our government officials or the decision makers actually knowing that what should we do and how we should do. This proposal actually given by the DiversAsia, because DiversAsia creating some tools and guidelines for making the materials or making the audio, visual, textural, and other things also. And third one is that as we are working with the University Grants Commission of Bangladesh, and they took it seriously.
Okay.
And they have asked me that the final outcomes of this project we should submit to them, so that they can make a proper guideline for Bangladeshi students, because you know that there is a cultural context is different, so that they can make a proper guideline for the higher institution, education institution, to follow this instruction for the disabled peoples.
That's a very meaningful impact.
Yeah, certainly.